What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, and we are back with another therapy session. Y'all don't mind my hair. I need to do it. Y'all, I have to share something with y'all. I have to share something with y'all because God is so good. God is so good. So, oh yeah, if you know, you've been on my page, you see some of my reels and stuff like that. You know that I am on this journey of as a pro se litigant, and I am going after debt collectors because they be coming after us. Y'all, this is literally just me researching. Everything is like from, when I say from scratch, I mean from scratch. Like, I have not done this prior to, I don't know anybody else who has done this prior to. So, just a side little backstory. I had wound up asking, like, I like law. You should know that. I probably say in every video, but I love law stuff. God saved me. He saved me. But you know, one of the beautiful things I think that, one of the things that I think is really beautiful from God, like Jesus leaving the 99, coming for that one, is, you know, feeling like you leaving a life, or feeling like you could get the feeling of like, yo, I'm leaving this life, like grieving a life. That's what I'm trying to say. You're grieving a life that is the only life that you knew. Not knowing where it's going to go when you come on the good side, right? So even though at the point that God really took me in, I didn't care what it looked like, as long as it didn't look like, you know, my end. It's the building up that you have to get used to, right? And so with that, all those interests, like I think the beautiful thing is all the interests and things that you liked before don't go unnoticed. Like, it's not like you can't like these things. It's just, it has to, I guess, how can you say, like, be presented in a different way, right? So let's say, for instance, like if you like music and, or no, let's say you like drawing, like you're really talented in drawing. Let's say you used to draw, I don't know, naked people or something like that. Instead of you doing all of that, now you can draw, you know, other things that would uplift and inspire, that can inspire you. And I only say that to say, like, you don't have to feel like being saved is losing things that you once loved. So I say that because law is something I always like, right? Now, knowing what I know now, this is something that God has always put in me, and I'm guessing it's part of my purpose. That's how I'm thinking. That's how I'm looking at it. Like, this got to be part of my purpose, because clearly this is where you want me. So, you know, my idea of growing up was going to be, I'm going to be this lawyer, I'm going to do this, you know, and it's real funny when you think you're going to do something and how your life going to be, when it's like, God is like, no, I have you here for a reason. And when you finally wake up to realize that, then you can go ahead and operate in that, right? So the part for me, that wasn't the issue, because at that point, like I said, at that point that I got rerouted back to Jesus, it was more of, okay, well, what's my purpose? Like, what's going on? Like, at that point, I'm ready to follow whatever, because I was just so over whatever I was going through at the time. I'm like, let's go, what we doing? I'm on a bandwagon, right? But being on that bandwagon, also, you're not realizing that you're going to have to grieve a life that you once had because it's all you knew. And make sure that you keep looking forward to the life that God has for you, which would be that faith, because obviously you don't know what it is, but you will have faith in Him to know that He's not going to take you out of something to see you fail. Like, that's not how God works. So also, you know, the foundation has to be solid, and anything that you built outside of Him, you now have to tear that down in order for you to build with Him, so that it can't go nowhere, right? So I realized all that, boom, boom. I'm like, okay, cool. So, you know, now we're back to the law. And it's funny how I got here, because first of all, I think I said this in another video where, if I didn't, I'll say, if I did, whatever, I'm gonna say it again. But basically, I was doing my credit because I was like, you know, I was in a tough situation, and I was like, I'm gonna have to, get out the current situation that I was in. So I was like, I gotta fix my credit, I gotta do all this, I gotta do that. did that, I was able to get me a car. And this is also how I got this place too, because my credit was shot from all the prior stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that's how I started out, was fixing like the credit and stuff. But then I'm like, oh, let me help people. Let me do this. Then I had to realize people don't work the way that I work. I move quick. Like, I'm on stuff. I'm on top of stuff. I'm very thorough. I move very quickly, strategically, but quickly. And so if I'm telling somebody, if somebody asks me for help and I say, well, hey, you got to do X, Y, and Z, and you don't do it within, a certain time frame, you can't get upset with me that something didn't go in your favor if you're not submitting things when you need to submit them. So at that point that I realized people don't operate how I operate, I'm like, I don't think I could really do this with the one-on-one type of thing, right? So in the midst of that, so I was like, let me create, I seen people create ebooks, and I'm like, y'all, for me, marketing is like really not my thing, because I just like to be authentic, and sometimes I feel like the marketing could be very performative, and that is just something that does not sit well with my spirit, especially in this day and age. So I always want to make sure that my stuff is very authentic. So I haven't gotten that down pat yet, but that's neither here nor there. I still did it because, again, I still created it because, again, it is something that worked. It worked for me. I'm like, oh, this is gonna definitely work for somebody else. So within that, I wound up having a conversation with God, like, God, I need some money. Y'all, I lied to you not. And I said this, I think, in my last video when I was telling like how I'm going after one of the debt collectors. I was like, y'all, I need some money, and I got sued, and I'm looking like, but the thing is, when I got sued from the debt collector, this was actually something I was actively looking into. So I'm like, I didn't put two and two together at first, because I'm looking like, God, I said I need some money. What you doing? Like, I didn't say I wanted to be sued, but what it did was allow me to not only continue to do more research and continue to be on this path that I'm on of learning this thing, gaining more confidence in the court system and all of this, because I've never sued nobody. I've never sued nobody, and I've never been sued. So I'm like, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm like, I don't know how all this go. So it gave me the confidence to do it, because now I have no other option. And God knows what he's doing, because I operate under pressure very well. So I felt like he did that on purpose, low key, like, okay, because you know how sometimes you'll BS if you you gotta do something, but you're a little nervous, you trying, God's like, I'm throw you right out there. That's what that faith gotta come through. And it did, because y'all, a month after, another company sued me. So I'm like, oh, okay, you really you testing the waters, right? If God ain't gonna do nothing, he gonna test that faith. If he not, it's gonna be tested. That faith is gonna be tested. But at this point, y'all, I told y'all in all my other videos, when I say me and God is locked in, I'm not playing. Can't nobody get me up off of God. Period. Nobody. So I'm like, all right, we in it now. So let's get to it. So from that, everything is new to me. I'm doing all of this stuff, and then y'all, I'm not seeing no traction, right? Because when I first got sued, it was from July 2025. I'm still one of those cases I could not physically get to, because and you want to go check that video out, or check my last video out, because it'll tell you basically what happened. But in a nutshell, I could not get to the courthouse, so they defaulted me, which I could have appealed it and all of that, but I chose to go the other route, which is just now I sued them back. So that case is still on, but as far as that one that I was actively in with the state, they sued me. That one is done. That one has been defaulted. They got the judgment. But if you check the other video out, you'll understand where I'm at and the strategies I'm going to use to fight that one, right? So the one that sued me a week after, the ones that sued me the month after, I'm gonna actually make a video on that too, in more detail. But basically, it was a waiting period, and we just got on a docket. So now I'm just waiting on a court hearing date so we can go there, so I can attend actually. So from that's the two. I had one in arbitration, and I have another one that's in the appeal stage. And the one that's in the appeal stage, y'all, I'm not gonna get into detail with that one, because I gotta kind of That's all new. But until I can get like really grasp that concept, then I'll explain that. But the one that's in the appeal stage, I started. And I just threw myself out there because I'm like, what is there to be scared of? Like, I don't be understanding why. Fear is something. That's why God's like, he does not give us a spirit of fear, because yo, the fear that I had of doing that, because I'm the type of person I need to know all angles, and me not knowing those angles was something that is not taught to the masses and can look like it's potentially no substance there, but I have to unlearn to unlearn. Unlearn to learn. I was like, what am I doing? So with all of that, and then I felt like I found another case. I'm like, oh, I could start this case. I started it. That one is actually moving faster than all the other ones, which is crazy. And I got them stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know, I got a couple cases, mind you. I'm pro se. This is all me research. I don't know, you know. So I'm looking like, what am I doing? Am I getting, way over my head, y'all? And with me not seeing the traction that I'm thinking I'm supposed to see, because I felt like I was being thrown loopholes, like, certain things was coming up that was preventing certain things from happening that I thought where the case would have already been over. And, from those type of things, I just kind of got on my feelings, because I'm like, now hold on. And this is where the enemy will get you, right? Because I'm like, I'm an overthinker. I'm an overthinker because I always had to be. I'm an overthinker because I had to always figure out playing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So when God took me out of what I was in, he literally like calmed my nervous system, because with overthinking sometimes comes worry, and then worry comes anxiety. And I'm like, I'm out of that now. Like, I'm so, and y'all hear me say this all the time, I'm so at peace that that's not something that I have to deal with on a daily basis, when that was my life at one point, right? So every time that it would try to show up, I'm looking like, I regulate that back. I know how to bring it back. I recognize what it is now. I follow Jesus Christ. Everybody might not, follow the same, and that's okay. But from my point of view and what I believe in, I know it's the enemy, right? So I'm like, you trying to bring me back to the worry state of mind, because then bringing that comes anxiety, comes fear, come overthinking, and eventually me, I'll procrastinate. I don't want to do it. It'll be all these thoughts, and I'm just like, I don't want to let no negative energy enter my matrix, like, because that's not how God operates. And if God has done something for me one time, what makes you think he's not going to do it again? As long as I'm staying in line, in which I am, and fully surrendering, I love it over here. But it's very scary sometimes, because I've never done it. So I'm looking like, how does this work for real? I have the faith, like, I know things are gonna happen. I don't know how. I don't care how, but I know it's going to. That's that faith of a mustard seed. I ain't never had that before. I always had to know the outcome. And that was damaging a little bit, because if it did not happen like that, it was an easy way of me being let down, and then me being in my feelings and stuff like that, which caused all the other stuff, like I said, anxiety, worry, this, and the third. So now that I'm in a different headspace, I'm looking like, from time to time, those same thoughts will come right back, right? And essentially, not only is it the enemy, but it's also like, you gotta realize I'm grieving a life I knew. Or put it like this. I'll put it like this. My past life is the only life I knew, right? So my body naturally will go into fight or flight mode when a problem comes, because that's what I know to do. So that's where I have to readjust my thinking, readjust my mind, to send that to God and take the worry from me, right? But because I am still new to that, sometimes the thoughts and stuff and all of that can slip through the cracks, where if I don't do that immediately, I could stay in that cycle for a couple of days, right? Yeah, this happened to me not too long ago, because I'm sitting here thinking like, no, let me put it like this. Y'all, what I've noticed is that during my cycle, around the time that it's my cycle, this is when it heightens, right? I noticed the pattern. Reason being is because my hormones are now heightened. And after 30 is crazy. I'm telling you, hormones after 30 is insane. I was never taught this. So this is like all new to me, y'all. I'm over here going through it. Do you understand what I'm saying? during that time of the month, it's a mess. I be like, and I'm not an emotional type of person, so this is really all new to me. Like, what's going on? I usually can be, be cool, but I'm realizing there's certain things that I'm having to deal with that's coming at me that's new that I haven't been taught, and I'm looking like, hold on. So I realized these type of thoughts and all this type of negativity and all of this is coming around the time that my menstrual, around the time my monthly is coming, probably because that's when I'm physically the most weakest. Like, God has made me such a strong person. Mentally, I always been strong. Physically, I can do a little 1-2. I ain't all that, but I can do a little 1-2. Spiritually, I've been medium, and I think because I just didn't know who I was. I never stepped in the authority that God gave me because I didn't feel like I didn't know I had no authority. Like, and for the longest since I was a kid, I feel like that was knocked at the most, where I felt like a little girl, like where I couldn't, stand tall. Until I got a little older, I started standing tall to the giants that was trying to knock me down. That was, building my confidence. And then I feel with life hitting me, with the way life was hitting, all of that was to try to break me down again. And it got me a little 1-2, you know what I'm saying? A little uppercut here, uppercut there, to the point where I had wound up giving up. And then me giving up, that's when I told God, God, something God give. I don't know what. Listen, you got to come help. And that's when he literally like helped me. And I've been Gucci ever since, for real, because y'all hear me say it all the time in every video. I don't know how to not say it in every video. So coming from all of that, I'm like, it had me thinking, like, my wheels are spinning. Like, I've been in survival mode longer than I've been out of survival mode. So my body naturally just goes back. And if I don't catch it in the midst of me doing it, again, I'll be in that cycle for a little bit, right? So me realizing that it comes around my monthly, I'm like, now it's heightening my senses, it's heightening my spirit, my spiritual part. Because again, I was like medium. Now I'm a little above the medium. Because when I tell y'all, I'm like, I see certain things now that I've seen before, but just couldn't put a name to it, or I just didn't understand it at the time in its capacity, y'all. Now I'll be like, God, why are you showing me? Like, when you see something, you can't unsee it. I'll be like, so nowadays I know I have to shut my mouth more than, and I do that anyway, so that's nothing for me. But it's just a different feel, because now I'm seeing things on a different level than I was before. So it's kind of like God, like, it's like the Holy Spirit be putting me on game before this stuff happened. But then I still be like, I be going through the motion, because I'm like, well, I know what this is, but I still got to go through the motion. And sometimes it'll feel like it's defeating me, yo. It'll feel like it's defeating me. But I had a talk with my uncle. Shout out to my uncle. I love him. Shout out to you, Uncle Rashim. I love you down to the moon and back, like I always tell you. Shout out to you. But I wind up talking to him in one of those moments, because my head was just like spinning. And he be talking me off the ledge sometimes. Not the ledge, but he be really like, we have similar mindsets. So he be really just putting things into perspective. Because you know how sometimes you be knowing, like, I'm the type of person that I know what I gotta do, but sometimes I gotta say it out loud, and then everybody is not gonna. You just can't talk to everybody, because I can't talk to somebody that's surface level. I need you to dig a little deeper so we can. I don't need you to agree with everything I say, but I just need you to dig a little deeper so you can have, I can have like an intelligent conversation, and it's not just, oh, you just PMSing. No, because surface level, for what I'm saying, a lot of people will be like, oh, you just PMSing. No, this is different. I'm trying to tell you. So he really like put some things into perspective that really helped me, and gave me different ways to kind of think of, what I was going through at the time. Because I'm just like, what's happening? And then I had a conversation with God too, and I'm like, know what this is? And it's like, God is just telling me, like, you know what this is. So, because how I was feeling was, I'm like, God, I'm not seeing no traction. Now I'm at the point where I'm thinking, well, am I supposed to be here? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, I'm not real. Now I'm looking at all the negatives of what has not come. When God does not call us to look at that. He tells us to have faith in what he's going to do. And even though you don't know what he's going to do, knowing him, know his nature, know his character, you should know how that's going to come out. And you should know God don't play about his kids. God don't play about his children. So why would he bring me out of something and say if I surrender that he would fully take care of me for him not to take care of me? It doesn't make sense. And God is not a man, so he can't lie. And God doesn't lie. So I have to believe what it said. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it like, okay, I know, now I'm breaking myself back. Like, all right, I know, God, you ain't bring me here for no reason. This ain't coming across my face for no reason. You're not having me do all of this for no reason. So obviously it got to be something here. One thing I do find is that what the enemy likes to do is, soon as you right at the edge of receiving that, of beating that, he'll have you thinking all the time. He trying to have you jump off the ledge so you'll never receive it. I'm sitting here like, no, and I'll be having whole conversations in my head. Like, no, I'm not. We're not doing that. This not, regulating my emotions and getting back to making sure my nervous system is cool, because I don't want to get out of hand, because that's what I used to do. And so all those thoughts is kind of like, I'm thinking like, man, should I be doing this? Is this really, because I'm not seeing the fruits of my labor. And not that I needed to be rushed. It's just, it just seemed like it was a block here. But what I had to realize is I had to shift my thinking. Like, this is not only will God handle it, and I have faith in that. Because when I tell you I don't got faith in nothing else, I'm telling you, I don't have faith in nothing else. It's either God or it's not. Period. So because of that, I'm looking like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I'm fully trusting you. Like, that's what we doing. I'm locked in. I might be feeling like such and such, but I know you're going to take care of it. You've done it before. I've seen it before. I've seen some things I cannot explain before. So I know you got it. That helps me be able to not stay in my feelings if I'm getting in them. Right? And then I think sometimes, with having conversations and stuff with God, and he knows what we thinking and knowing how we really feeling. Because for me, for what I'm doing, it's a waiting game. Which the waiting part is like, it's cool. I don't mind the waiting. But it's just when those little negative things try to enter, you gotta combat that. That's why I say you gotta combat that with the daily word. Pick up that Bible, pick up that sword. Pick up that cross. Because we gotta fight. Because they be coming. But they be trying me. But I be fighting back. And I always regulate. It always gets regulated, but sometimes it gets the best of me, and I just be like, whatever. But God will also give, little like he knows what you're thinking and stuff, and know how you feel, and he'll definitely give you like a nugget too, like to let you know you right where you're supposed to be, right? So a lot of the times I feel like a lot of those gems and nuggets come from like TikTok. Cause I've been on TikTok a lot, but sometimes I open an app and it'll be a video and like a confirmation of something that I just had a conversation with God about, or I talked to God about. I'm like, all right, God, I hear you, right? So let me tell y'all. So the crazy thing is, I just had a conversation with my best friend today because she was crashing out about work or something. So I was telling her, some of the things of how I was feeling, and then I was like, sometimes I'd be feeling like the same thing I just said to y'all, like, am I on the right path, this, that, and the third, because this stuff is taking so long, and I just never anticipated it for it to take so long. I'm not impatient, but I just didn't see this coming, because I'm like, this is from last year, like, And one of my cases, y'all, it's nothing. There's no movement. So I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, But I don't have an outcome of, like, I'm not expecting the outcome to the point where I would get my hopes up, and if it didn't happen, then it would, no. I'm looking at everything as a lesson learned. Take that, go back to the drawing board. That's how I'm going with life now, period. Like, God basically gave me like a confirmation, which was he gave me a confirmation today, which warmed my heart. But it was basically, so not only am I doing like the law stuff for me, but I'm also helping other people who have reached out to me for help, right? And I feel like this, helps me sharpen my skills. Now, I don't give them legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, whatever. It's just really for educational purposes. So when they're asking me certain questions, I'm basically telling them like what outcomes can happen, what documents you might be able to file, things of that nature. Just telling them what I really did and how it could go to stand third, right? Educational purposes only, because ain't nobody gonna get me. But so somebody had wound up asking for help, and I had told him like, okay, if you know, I'm the type of person, I sue back. So mine is a little bit more extensive because I am actually showing claims myself. Just like they, you know, they had a claim, I have claims now too. That's gonna force us to litigate. But for a lot of people who don't have, who don't want to do it, who don't have the options or the ability to, who don't want to deal with the courts, you know what I'm saying? There's ways that you can get out of it. So I was actually helping two people. One girl, I helped her get her case reopened, but she had wound up showing late to the courthouse and they bypassed her stuff. And I don't know what happened with that. Because again, I only can help but so much. I cannot sit there and represent you. So if you don't show up on time, whatever the case may be, and they continue to move forward, then it is your, you know, you got to figure out how serious you are on, you know, how you want to fight this. And then the other person, and the only reason why I'm mentioning it too is because I told both of them to do the same thing, which was invoke arbitration. So I'm not going to go into what arbitration is. I'm going to give you a small definition. Basically, arbitration is just it's like a mediation before the court. In most credit cards, there is an arbitration clause that should be enforced. And basically, a lot of them say like generic language, which is basically saying any disputes should be handled in arbitration prior to coming to court. But those people never do it because arbitration costs a lot of money up front, and these companies, these debt collectors, buy these debts for pennies on a dollar, and because of that, they're not going to want to put out thousands of dollars because these arbitrators can be $300 an hour, so they don't want to put out thousands of dollars for debt that they bought for $5. So, for example, I sued a debt collector in arbitration. Now, it does cost both parties. However, you can file for things like a fee waiver, and I filed for a fee waiver. I got approved, so I don't have to pay anything. It's all on the business to pay. $300 an hour for the arbitrator, and they have to upfront pay $1,400. Now, the debt is for I want to say $2,500. I want to say $2,500. Now, while they're not in a surplus, that's just the fee, like the initial fee. If it's anything extra where like you want the arbitrator to do anything else, then they would have to pay more. But the invoice off the rip is $1,400. But my $2,500 alleged debt, they probably paid not even $100. So why would I go through arbitration, pay $1,400? That means whatever, even if they won, whatever is left, you know, from the, what's that? $1,100 is technically what they would be getting back. They're not going to do that. On top of that, like if they won in arbitration, they would get the $1,100. On top of that, they don't be having the contracts. A lot of the times they don't have the standing, and they can't even prove ownership. So because they know that, they're not going to want to go through arbitration, because not only is it costing you a lot of money up front, now you have to prove certain things that you don't have to even prove. So with them being out of compliance like that, they're not going to want to, you know, they don't want to go fight that or whatever. So they're not going to want to fight that. And so with that being said, they never go to arbitration first, but the arbitration clause is enforceable no matter who gets it after, because it's a contract and you signed it. And in those contracts, or in the clauses, it be saying that like this supersedes any third parties. They are considered a third party once that debt is handed over to them, right? So I told this person, I'm like, you know, invoke arbitration. I'm like, if you want them off your back, I promise you, invoke arbitration. That's the easiest way, quickest way. So y'all, the person files their answer, says, hey, I want to enforce arbitration. This company, or a settlement conference is set. He gets on a conference. They basically had him sitting for like almost 30 minutes. First of all, he was upset. Second, they was like, they basically got on there with a judge and was like, look, do you want to settle this? We'll take $25 a month to this, that, and third. Mind you, his debt amount was, I want to say, maybe $600. He's like, no. I said, I want arbitration. You have to stand firm in arbitration. Like they're like, oh, it's going to cost all this money through arbitration, which is true. But the thing is that they're not going to say is, you as the defendant don't have to file arbitration. They have to, because they are the ones that's looking for relief. When you file, you're the one that's looking for relief. So you have to kind of basically tell them like, okay, we're in arbitration because, and what relief would you want? the debt is already written off, if we're being honest. You know what I'm saying? So what are you looking for from the company? Nothing. So that's why you would not be the person that would sue. It would be them suing you because they're looking to get that money. But they don't want to go through them because they know how much money they have to, they know around about how much they have to pay. So that's why they try to do the conference, like basically back you in the corner, like just to get you to say yes to anything so that they don't have to, they can continue. Which you're like, at this point, no, I'm not admitting to the debt. I'm not talking about anything. At the end of the day, I don't want to go through this. Or no, at the end of the day, we should be going through arbitration because for this contract that you're trying to enforce, it says that, right? So he stood 10 toes down in that arbitration conference. They was like, okay, hold on. Y'all, they had him on the phone, I want to say for about another 30 minutes, if not 45. And so he texted me like, what? I'm like, I don't know why they got you on the phone. Long story short, they wound up hanging up. So he called back like, what is going on? They like, oh, it's done. He like, well, nobody told me nothing. Nobody came back on the phone. Playing, right? Playing around. So, and I'm gonna make a separate video about this, just strictly on this process. Yeah, strictly on this process. But I'm just giving a little bit of detail. So, they set a hearing date, right? So at this point, you would be thinking like, okay, here I go again. We about to, because normally during well, it was a trial date, not a hearing date, but the trial is basically where you would fight the case for saying this, that, and the third. So y'all, he called me like, okay, you know, what's going on? You know, can we just have a refresher? So we going over some of the details. And I'm like, you know, basically you stand on enforcement of arbitration, because honestly, what happens is when you elect arbitration, the court no longer have jurisdiction, but they don't tell you that, which is crazy. And you have to say it, and you have to stand on that. And some judges are different. They might say, okay, well, you have to file a motion. Some judges might say whatever, or most likely what'll happen is the case will get dismissed, because they know that you have to go through arbitration once you say it. They know they can't play like that, right? So let me tell you what happened. So this was my confirmation today. Guy called me. He wanted a refresher. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, all right, this is what you're going to have to say. I'm like, you're going to have to say X, Y, and Z. And basically you just not this is what you have to say, but this is how you have to do it. Just stand on the fact that you want arbitration. Do not let them wiggle you into nothing else. You're not here to talk about the case, the account details, nothing. You are here to say, let's go to arbitration, right? This is how you get them off your back, right? So he like, okay, y'all, he goes to the court. He called me after. I'm like, yo, good luck. You know what I'm saying? Because he never been sued and had to deal with this either. So he looking like, I don't really know what I'm doing either. So I'm like, okay, I got you. So he go do this, and they're like, he go to the court. He called me shortly after. I'm looking like, that wasn't long. This man calls me, y'all. This man calls me and say, oh, I forgot to check my email, because in my email, he said I forgot to check my email and tell you. I got an email from them that said notice of dismissal, so we don't even have court. Notice of dismissal, y'all. Y'all, when I tell you I was hyped, because that was my confirmation. He won. He won at the end of the day. They sued him, I want to say it was January. And they set the trial date. Like, in between, it was a settlement conference. He did that. He stood 10 toes down. So all that research that I did, all of the strategy that I kind of gave him, giving him that confidence, telling him that, you know, he can do it, wind up, you know, refreshing him right before this trial, asking him, because he could have filed a motion to compel, and it really could have been over probably in February. But instead of him filing a motion, he was like, no, I'm not going to file a motion. I'm just go to the trial date. It was dismissed yesterday, y'all, the day before the trial date. He never even checked his email to see it, so he went to the court for nothing. But he was still prepared, and that's a win. He did not. He was like, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you, y'all. That's a win. That's a win for me. That's a win for me, because, and that's a confirmation for me, because I'm sitting here thinking like, am I on the right path? Like, even though I'm not seeing attraction, I just want to make sure I'm not out of alignment. I don't want to be out of alignment no more at all. I say that all the time, because I know what it cost me being out of alignment. I don't want that. So I'm looking like, when I seen that today, mind you, I just said this to my best friend, like the same stuff I'm saying to y'all. I just said this to her earlier in that day. And later on in that day, after I talked to him and he called me, telling me how it went, he was like, I checked my email. I don't even have court. He was like, I went up to the court You know, I'm gonna say that for the next video. But basically, it was dismissed, and by it being dismissed, they're not coming after him. So now, if another debt collector comes after him, he knows what to do. You know how to file the same. You can file the same exact motion, not motion. You can file the same exact answer, just change the wording as far as the debt collectors. You already know what to say. You already know they're going to set up a settlement conference. You already know what to say in that and stand 10 toes down. And then you know 9 times out of 10 is going to be dismissed. And even if you have to get in front of that judge, you know what to say, y'all. That was such a confirmation for me, because I was worried, like, God, am I doing the right thing? And not that I'm looking at it as the wrong thing, but I just wasn't seeing the fruits of my labor yet. And God just gave me a confirmation today. You are on the right path. Y'all can't tell me God not good. You can't tell me God not good, yo. You can't tell me God not good, man. You can't tell me God not good. Because I was struggling. I was just like, I just talked to my uncle about this not too long ago. I want to say last month. Because I was in my head, like, what? And sometimes all of that, that's what the enemy want. He want all of this. So it could be a whole bunch of confusion, but we know God's not the author of confusion. So from that, it can make you make, you know, rapid decisions that you shouldn't even have made, instead of just waiting on God. So when these things happen, I got to make sure I'm bringing myself back to reality. Like, this is God's problem. It's not yours. You're just supposed to be walking, and he's going to clear the way as it comes. And he cleared the way for your girl. And he gave me a confirmation, because now this guy got his case dismissed. And that debt that them debt collectors did not owe, he don't owe them. God is good, yo. That's crazy. God is good. God is good. God is good. And that confirmation he just gave me really solidified where I'm at. So it got me even fueled and pumped even more to go at, like, to continue with my stuff. I have, like, random people who are like, oh, I seen your TikTok. They ask me some questions and I'll help them. I had an older lady, she had wound up calling me, and I told her I'm going to give you some strategies. But she got court that's coming. Yo, when I tell you, God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. I can't stop saying God is so good, because y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. And if you do understand, you know, when you just been waiting for something, God give you that confirmation. It's all glory be to God. It's all glory be to God. That's all I need to see. I only need to see it one time and I'm straight. Even though the faith, obviously I didn't see it, because faith is the evidence of, what is it? Y'all know the saying. I'm going to put it on the screen, but you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to mix the words up, so I'm going to put it on the screen. But y'all know what faith is. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Me having that faith brought me to this confirmation here, which now brings me, that's my one testimony I need, and that's going to fuel me for the rest of this journey. I don't need nothing else, because if God did it one time, he's going to do it again. He did it for him through me. He's going to keep doing it. So all of my stuff I'm waiting on, it's just a waiting game. It's waiting on God. That means God is plowing through whatever is trying to come my way, continue to come my way. He's getting all the junk out the way so it can be an easy walk. It could be an easy walk. Building my confidence up for the courts and the same, because again, I'm not a lawyer. I really don't know all the ins and outs. Building my confidence up, giving me that boldness, like bringing that boldness back that I had. Jesus, oh God, it's too good, too good to not give him the glory. So yeah, y'all, that's my confirmation, man. This is really just to say, like, really stay on task. Like, do not let the enemy throw you off. That's all he here for. Still kill and destroy. He want to take your joy. He want to take everything, because he know, or not he know, but he can sense what's on the other side. He don't know what's on the other side. He don't know what's on the other side, but he knows goodness. But if you keep on chucking, you keep on going through, there's no way you could lose. That's all I got, y'all. That's all I got. That's all I got. Keep on keeping on. Keep on trusting. Keep on having that faith, because it's going to come. That was my confirmation today. Thank you, Lord. That's all I needed to see. When I tell y'all it's up, it's up. It's up. I can feel it. I can feel it in my spirit. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it in my body. Thank you, God. If y'all like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see what happened as far as this guy's entire story, follow me to the next one. And I'll catch y'all in another video. Thanks for watching.